Okie dokie. Coffee. That's good. There. You can see me there. No good. All right, so there. Saludo Nelson. Happy Labor Day. Happy Labor Day to all of you who are here today. Happy Labor Day. You know, it's an unbelievable day. You know, everything is cool, my brother. Everything is well. Thank you for asking. Hello, Ed. How are you, Ed? Thank you so much. I'm wishing all of you a happy Labor Day. You know, relaxed day to all you people that work very, very hard, you know, for a living. All of you. Big shout out to all of you out there. Special day, man. It's a real special day. Yes, sir. Yes. Unbelievable. You know, being a recovering tomato can is something special, you know, that you're able to overcome, you know. You're able to overcome that situation with being a tomato can. It's unbelievable. It's a beautiful thing. You know, today's Sweet Kid Kino has prepared something for me. It's very, very special, you know. He's prepared something very, very special. So, you know, we're going to get into it. We already have 10 organic watch channel subscribers and only one thumbs up. You know, come on. If you guys are in the Army, you know, you got to start acting like Army, you know, man out there, you know, with those thumbs up to work. Unbelievable. No lambones, let's go. Okay, absolutely, for sure. I like that. I like that. I like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the most popular watch market update show in the world. There's not a watch market update show like this one. You know, we put lots of effort and lots of heart. You know, in la vida, in life, they told me always, Juan Felipe, that's my name, Juan Felipe, they would tell me, you have to put pasión, alma y corazón a la situación. They told me in Spanish one time, my father, he says to me, Juan Felipe, you gotta put love, passion, and heart, you know, into the situation. And this is what I'm doing right now. I'm putting love, passion, and heart into all this for you guys. So I'm asking you for a big favor. Don't forget to give us a big thumbs up, you know. The channel will blow up more, you know. It will go bigger and bigger and bigger. And don't forget, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, you should subscribe to this channel, because this channel, we only talk about knowledge, and not the knowledge that I bring. The knowledge that this gentleman today, Sweet Kikino, has brought today is unbelievable. You know, that's all I got to say. Eso es así, la vida te da sorpresa, sorpresa, como decía el maestro, como dice el maestro, eran dos de ellos, Willy Colón y Rubén Blades, tú sabes, dos fenómenos de la salsa, el que sabe de la salsa gorda, de la salsa pesada, eso es así, you know. We're talking about Latin, you know, jazz, salsa, you know, Latin salsa in Spanish. So don't forget to give me a thumbs up, you know, I mean, if you could do that. Don't forget that. Ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into the topics that I want to talk about with you people out there. You know, the first thing I want to tell you is, ladies and gentlemen, this is something that it shouldn't be no news to none of us, because this is the way these people over there in Geneva, with the crown, the way they work, the crown. You understand what the crown means, right? The way the crown works is unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, if you guys don't know, you're gonna know today, because I know that some of you have a hard time, or you don't have time to read and to do research. But Sweet Kikino has the whole day to do whatever he wants. He has carte blanche. Whatever he wants to do. So Rolex, ladies and gentlemen, as some of my organic watch channel subscribers already saying, Rolex, you're not gonna believe this. You're not gonna believe this. But Rolex has a new ambassador. They have a new ambassador. The guy that I call him the weather guy. In reality, I call this ambassador the weather guy. You don't know what the weather is? You don't know who the weather guy is? Well, it's those people, they talk about the CEO, water, the snow, the weather. We're talking about no other than Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio now is the ambassador. You're putting this, with all due respect, because many of you might like this unbelievable actor, but I wouldn't put him there. I would put somebody, a sports figure, a Formula One driver, Ayrton Senna. He's not here no longer with us, but somebody else, Hamilton, put a race car driver, or I don't know, about somebody, somebody, a normal person, but not this person that is talking about the CEO, weather. No, I don't, you know what I'm trying to say. That those people that talk about weather always, that the water's coming down, is going up, that kind of mashugana stuff, So they got this guy now that he is the spokesperson. I told you 2 months ago, 3 months ago, when they were talking about the situation over there in Xinjiang, Rolex doesn't say one word. Rolex doesn't address nothing. But they never made no more commercials, no more this, no more the rapper, no more, B. Carly, and this guy, that guy. It was over. They stopped everything, and and like Paco Gabino told me, if you don't address nothing to the people in the world, the people die out. Porque somos unos lambones, we're lambones. We already heard all this, but they never addressed nothing about what they were talking over there in Xinjiang. They were not saying one word. They let you guys talk about, the rapper Break, that guy Break, the other rapper, I don't know, otro lambón, otro lambón por allá hablando que my watches, they're all fake, this, that, from Xinjiang. And they're waiting for all of you to settle down. And once you guys settle down, they know already, these people are unbelievable. These people, Rolex hangs out with BlackRock, the Bilderbergers, JP Morgan, Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. You don't know about the Knights Templar. You don't know about that stuff, Skulls and Bones. They hang out with the biggest in the world. They can do whatever they want. They know that you were going to be quiet. And now they're pushing this sapo. You know what a sapo is? You know what a sapo is? You don't know what a sapo is? I'm going to tell you, because I don't want them to throw me another thunder lightning to my newscast antenna. A sapo is a frog, okay? A frog, I don't want that to happen. So they got this lambong now, this movie star, this big shot from Hollywood, and he's going to be now the ambassador, You understand what I'm saying? He's going to be the ambassador now. He's going to do this to you deeply now, because he's working now, I told you, you guys stopped. I saw in social media, when I saw that they were not talking no more about the subject of Xinjiang, it was dying out, It was dying out. They told you in your face what they do over there in Xinjiang with handbags, and they told you in your face what they do with watches in Xinjiang. But nobody wanted to, they got tired. People don't want to hear, because this one is mad because her handbags are make-believe, and the other one is suing. Papi, it's all, ustedes son unos lambones. you know. So now everything died out, and you got what you wanted. You got that guy, the weather guy, you know. Hey, can anybody tell me what I'm trying to say by weather guy? You know, that he likes the control of the, you know, I don't know, water going up, snow dying out, you know, all those things, you know, that they talk about. Those people, they talk about that stuff. I don't know too much about it, but you know, I hear that always. They're talking about the weather, you know, it's snowing, it's melting, you know, global warming, you know. Thank you very much, Mr. Blair. You know what I'm trying to say. I didn't want to say it, you know, but Mr. Blair said it, you know, global warming. And you know what they say it is? It's a grift, you know. You know, it's like that. And the other girl, that lady, that young little girl, Therma, I don't know her name, you know, she's like 14 years old, 12 years old, and she knew about everything already. Porque somos lambones. Well, you know, you can make whoever you want. If you're the owner of a broadcast system, you can make Kino a movie star. You can make me a star. You know, climate lambones, you know, the climate people, you know, it's like that. So now they got this Bashugana, you know, this climate warner guy, you know, a big shot from Hollywood. He's going to be telling you now what's happening. You know, he's going to be now the ambassador. It's unbelievable, these people from Rolex, the people they choose, and, you know, they choose and pick who they want to put there, you know, lo plantean ahí, pa, you know, they plant, you know, flag, boom, and that's it. And he's the one now that's going to be the big shot. So just to let you know, and let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, we are full of distractions. You're not going to believe this, but I have a little niece, you know, not little, but, you know, probably 14, 15 years old, you know, my niece. And she tells me, you got to listen and learn so you understand how this world works. The world, the planet, how the planet works. The distraction they're throwing at us is so unbelievable that, ladies and gentlemen, this figure is getting engaged. You know, a figure is getting engaged. You don't know about this. And I can't go so deep so they won't throw me a thunder lightning on my antenna tower, you know? But if you don't know who I'm talking about, I'm going to have to tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the engagement, you know, the engagement to Swift Taylor. You know, Swift Taylor, you know, she's getting engaged. And this is unbelievable. My little niece was going bananas because Swift Taylor is getting engaged with that football player. You know, a football player that plays for a red team, you know, with arrows and all that stuff. You know, it's unbelievable. You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say because you're a smart man. You understand what I mean. And you as well, Mr. Nelson. You understand what I mean. This is a distraction. So you look at this young girl that's getting engaged with that football helmet guy, you know, the football helmet guy, and you look that way, why the Black Rock and the Bilderbergers and Bohemian Grove go that way, you know? It's unbelievable what they do to us here, the way they have us, it's unbelievable. And I can't continue, you know, telling you more because, like I'm telling you, I don't know if you guys were aware. If you were, please let me know. And if you weren't, let me know. Yes, I wasn't aware of that. You know, I did a big live podcast, and some big gigantic thunder lightning hit the tower of our studio, you know, and everything went off. Everything, you know, it was scary. It was, you know, if Mr. Blair was here, he'll tell you what happened. I'm telling you, it was. I heard voices, you know. I heard things, walkie-talkies, and everything, and it went haywire. And I was into the show. I'm talking about at least 27 minutes. I was into the show when it got interrupted with that thunder lightning. You know what I'm trying to say because you guys know so lambones. You know, it was unbelievable. It was a direct hit. You know, it was a direct hit. It hit me. It hit me. And, you know, I'm going to tell you, Thomas, I felt very nervous because I heard voices, you know, they came out from, you know, I can't even hear nobody's voice. But that day I heard voices and the people, my audience, there were a lot of It was unbelievable. They had like scramblers. I don't know, equalizer. You remember when you were a young kid and you had your cassette deck in your car? You had an equalizer. It was like an equalizer and everything. It was unbelievable. And Kino got nervous and he started looking through the window. Exactly. I'm revealing too much, and they threw un bombazo. They threw a kaboom, pa, and everything went crazy. The tip of the antenna got like kind of burned. So I have to be very, very careful, ladies and gentlemen, the way I speak to you, because this is the #1 watch market update show in the world that brings you knowledge all day, every day. It's unbelievable, and I want you to know what's going on. I need to tell you. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm trying to tell you. You know what? Because I come to tell you the truth. And ladies and gentlemen, have you heard? Have you heard? And I spoke about this 4 months ago or 5 months ago. Have you heard again of that boxer, Floyd Mayweather? You haven't heard from him no more. He was wolfing his mouth. You know what he's doing now? He's making commercials in 47th Street in the Design District. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen, how these people are, the way they finish you off. You can't play with these people. So, I'm telling you, little bit by little bit. I'm going to tell you something, all of you out there. You need to see a documentary so you understand what's happening right now. What's happening right now. You got to see the documentary Loose Change. LOOSE change, like money change. Loose change. You understand me? Yes, sir, Thomas. Loose change. So you 29, you 22 who are here, you should feel privileged that I'm telling you a documentary that you should watch. It's called Loose Change, and it was done somewhere in 2007, not 2008, 2007. So you can understand what's happening. So I'm giving you a heads up on a documentary that I recommend to you people out there. We have recommended you a lot of documentaries in this channel. The Network. Inside Job. They Live, all that stuff. But I'm giving you this one. It's called Loose Change, so you can see what's happening. So again, going back one more time, now they're distracting all of us lambones. I'm a lambon too. And sweet Kikino to me, Joaquin to you, he's another lambon. But we have been awakened. We have been awakened, through life. So, we don't fall. So now they're coming with this wishy-washy stuff that Swift Taylor is getting engaged with the football helmet guy, to get you asleep. I'm letting you know what's happening so you understand what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to tell you something that you must, even if you don't, buy it, collect it, whatever it is, you must look at it so you know what's happening in the world. We're talking about gold, pure gold, purity gold. And ladies and gentlemen, gold is at it's unbelievable. I don't know today, but today is a special day here in the United States. But over there in the other countries, they don't care. They're functioning and they're working like it's no joke. And ladies and gentlemen, the price of gold, of pure gold, is at $3,550 a troy ounce, And to my surprise, this is how I know that things are going in a very hairy way. It's going, Mr. Blair, help me out if you want to, help me out. Whoever wants to help me out, jump in. When you see that this is going on, it's not funny. 35.50 the troy ounce of gold. Now watch this, ladies and gentlemen. Silver was down. Silver was down. Silver was down, and ladies and gentlemen, out of nowhere, silver. I know people. I know people because it's dirt cheap. I know people that have. I'm gonna say a number so you understand what I'm saying. I know people that have 300 pounds, 300 pounds of silver, 300 pounds of silver. No joke. And gold. Gold is at $42 a troy ounce. Up and away. Up and away. But then, again, please listen to me. It's going te va a beneficiar. It's going to be very beneficial. You know, te va a beneficiar. You know that word, beneficiar. Put it down for me there, please. Help me out. You guys work with me here. But ladies and gentlemen, platinum went all the way down to 13 and 1,300 and I don't know, $20. You're not gonna believe this, ladies and gentlemen. The three trifecta. You know what a trifecta is? When you go to the horses, when you go to the dogs, when you go to high light, you know, the trifecta. You know, they come in first, second, and third, you know, win, show, place, you know, that kind of stuff, you know. Platinum, ladies and gentlemen, is at $1,440. $1,440. You know that? And then you have the super trifecta. You know what the super trifecta is? A fourth number that comes in the horses. You know? The fourth number that comes in the horses. The super trifecta. Rhodium. All the way up. All the way up. All the way up. This is why they put Swift Taylor getting engaged in the whole world, the whole planet. You know, the whole planet is mesmerized with that engagement de la tísica esa. Es una tísica. You know what tísica is? If you don't know what tísica is, I'm not going to tell you. You Google it. You know? And they got all these lambones, and palomos, you know? You want to crawl with the rats or you want to soar with the eagles? Do you want to crawl with the rats or you want to soar with the eagles? Because all those people that are looking at that engagement and going crazy and looking that way, while BlackRock is doing this to you, BlackRock, ustedes son los lambones. I know what I'm telling you. Let me drink a little bit of jungle juice so I can relax my body, you know? Unbelievable, this channel. 30 organic subscribers, 7 thumbs up. That's an embarrassment to a guy that does this for free. Kino, no te metas, Kino, no te metas en esto. Esto no es problema tuyo, Kino. No te metas, no te metas. No te metas, Kino. Kino, I can do what I want, Kino. It's my show. I don't charge no membership. I don't ask him for nothing, you know? I can do whatever I want. You understand me? I can do whatever I want. Let them leave. I want them to all leave porque son lambones. Lambones. So they got you guys like that. You know, they have you like that. And I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. What's happening with gold, you need to keep your ears open and your eyes wide open, because when those 4 things together are going all the way up, I'm not going to tell you the price of rhodium. I'm not. I gave you 3. I'm not going to give you the 4th one. The 4th one, you do the leg work. You know, you do all the leg work. No te metas aquí, no. No te metas. No te metas. You do the leg work. You find out yourself. But I'm telling you, when those 4 metals, precious metals, are playing around and acting crazy, especially gold, that means that the world is upside down. There's never been something like that. Four things at the same time running and moving all the way up. All the way up. I'm just letting you know what's going on. It's for you guys. You know, you do the rest if you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to talk to you about a subject. Do you know what P marketing refers to? You know, P marketing. PEA marketing. You know? Does anybody know what that means? Nobody knows what that means. You know, P marketing is a US based that's in the United States, and they've been around since 2019. You still don't know who P marketing is? Es que te digo, Kino, if I don't do this channel, man, these people will get fried, man. Si yo no hago este canal, Kino, lo dije mal, si tú no haces este canal, esto estuviera bien jodido, ¿verdad? You know, P marketing, P marketing is a US-based advertising agency, and they're dedicating themselves to being bigger than, they say this. Do I believe it? Come on. They say they're bigger than eBay, bigger than that Chrono thing, bigger than all these platforms out there. And they say that they can sell with the agency they have, they can sell you a month more than what you sell, 5 to 10 watches a month extra. Google it. P marketing. They dedicate themselves in selling watches, for their services. You know what I'm trying to say. Thank you, Thomas. You know what I'm trying to say, Thomas. You know what I'm trying to say, Thomas. Unbelievable, this Thomas. El Tomás es brillante, un hombre con una chola tremenda. Tomás, brillante. So they're offering their services to all these Michiganers. Their services that they can push your product. And if you sold 50 watches a month, with their service, you're going to sell 10 more. You got to buy their service. And it's called P marketing, and they are, it's the new goal, papi. Coño, okay, we have smart people here. But the ones that are not smart are the ones that run. They don't want to hear the truth. They want to continue being like Swift Taylor, Swift Taylor, the engagement. They want to hear that. They want to hear the engagement. They don't want to hear this. They don't want to hear about this. You know what I'm trying to say. And so they have this now, and this is the new thing. And you should see, these are kids. This is why I'm saying that the future of AI, computer, all these different platforms, social media, bro, esto ha acabado con el mundo. This has turned the world upside down. You should see what they're talking about. They're whoever it is, Craigslist pa fuera, eBay pa fuera, Chrono pa fuera, Bobby pa fuera, everybody out. You don't understand these kids, what they're doing, and they telling you, we assure you that you're going to sell 10 more watches a month because we're going to get you the right targeting. I don't know. You people know about this, It's unbelievable. You people know more than me. Some people, what would they call them? Data robbery? Somebody put there something. Data is the new gold. Data is the new gold. And this is what they're doing. They're attacking everybody now. The same way that, Swift Taylor attacks you people with her engagement. Papi, this is crazy. Let me tell you, man, they make us slaves. They make us slaves. And I always wonder how I was, how was it that I was able to, esquivar, like a boxer, when they move around, I was able to get away from all this, all these things. I see a little kid, well, he looks to me like a little kid, and he's talking about with these big words that he learned in Harvard, and Yale and Cornell, and then they have a special accent for you guys, to put you to sleep for real. So the new thing is called P, P marketing. It's unbelievable, these people, what they do, and listen to this, they've been around. Thank you. They've been around since 2019. 2019. And if you have 50, if you sell 40 engagement rings a month, they say, we promise you're going to sell 5 to 10 more a month. And the people are going nuts now. They're all over the place, and they're talking about it. Papi, this is all rigged, man. It's all rigged. Let me tell you. They told me this always. If you have a product, and that product is an unbelievable product, right? And you tell the client that product costs, so you understand me, it costs $20, right? The customer, the client looks at it and he says, okay, $20, right? But the same product, another salesperson says, this product that I have is the most unbelievable product there is in the world. This product doesn't stain, is free from heat, temperature, la-di. And it costs, listen to this so you understand me how the human mind is. And you tell that same customer, that product, the same one that he got for $20, he's being told today, this product costs $200 a square feet. That client doesn't want the one that costs $20 a square feet. He wants the one that costs $200 a square feet. Because that's how the mind is. Nosotros somos anormales. An example. And I'm going to talk about myself now. You see me, I give you all this knowledge. It's for free. It's the worst thing I'm doing. And we know it. Me and Sweet Kid Kino know it's the worst thing we're doing to you guys, giving it to you for free. Because nothing in life, in reality, is for free. No lunch is for free. A lunch, a McDonald's lunch, ain't for free. It's going to cost you something, right? Nothing is for free. But in my case, we're for free. But we did a mistake. If we tell you we're going to give you all this knowledge, lottie, prices, this, that, and I tell you that I'm going to charge you for that, allegedly, right? I'm not saying I'm going to do that. I'm never going to do that. But if I tell you guys that I'm going to charge you to give you a watch market update personally on 3 watches, you're going to pay me, because that's how the human mind works. But when something is for free, you don't care. It's for free. The intrigue is gone. I'm talking to you guys like a psychiatrist now. The intrigue is gone. La furia, la euforia, se te fue. I told you I'm going to charge you for it. You pay for it, and I want to hear this guy. Like Miss Cleo. You know Miss Cleo? You remember Miss Cleo back in the 80s? You know what I'm trying to say? Miss Cleo. You will call her, and they would charge you $19.99 for the first 2 minutes, and she would tell you if you were gonna have a boy or a girl. She told you if your husband was cheating on you. You know what I'm trying to say, right? Miss Cleo. But that's how it is, because los otros, we have all been mesmerized by the Pluto trance. Pluto with Popeye. He would hang out with Popeye, and every time Pluto wanted to get down with Popeye's chick, Olive Oil, he would take her. He would do the Pluto trance her, MK Ultra, and she was gone. Every time that Pluto wanted to get some playtime with Olive Oil, you just give her the trance, and she would talk, oh, Popeye, I gotta go, she would leave. And this is how you guys are when you're hearing something for free. You don't give no importancia. You don't give no importance because it's for free. But it's what it is. Exactly. It's a lesson. And this is why I'm trying to tell you this, because I want you to know the reason that you guys, some of you say, that guy's for free. We got that guy over there, Eugene, AKA Jacob McChicken. The SEC is looking for him, and he's charging you $10 for a membership, right? You pay him the $10 to go see Eugene, aka Jacob McChicken. The ACC is looking for him. Google it. Google it. And that's how it is. But here is for free. So you don't need to Google nothing. It's there for free. You know, that's it. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. This company, you know, exactly. That's the way we roll. Exactly. Let me tell you, if you ever, I'm going to tell you lesson one. If you ever decide to do a channel, don't ever do it for free. Don't ever do it for free because it's the worst thing you're doing. It's the worst thing. They're going to take you for granted. They're not going to listen to you. They're going to walk away because it's for free. But this is how we did it. Now, if we switch everything around, it'll be different. You know, it will be different. You guys don't understand how many. Exactly. There you go. Eugene, the San Francisco bathhouse, you know, cruiser, you know, he walks around the streets, wandering the streets, you know, como loco, you know. So you have this new marketing firm that everybody needs to use something like that when they're promising you, I promise you that you're going to sell 5 to 10 timepieces extra a month. And this is what they're talking about: gold, diamond, and watches. And these people are unbelievable. These people, what they do to us is incredible. And cheers to you, to the ones that they're taking advantage of this free, you know, consultation. I told you the other day. Something that I'm going to say it again because maybe some of you were not here the day I repeated this. And if you were, I'll say it quick anyway. I told you there's a gentleman on 42nd Street. No, on 47th Street in the Diamond District in New York, you know. I called him in a friendly, beautiful way the subway train jumper. You know, he's unbelievable. Remember the subway train jumper in the movie The Ghost? The movie Ghost, the subway train jumper, you know? The guy that would jump, you know, from train to train. He would sit around. He was a ghost, you know? So I call that you know, watch dealer the subway train jumper. And ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe what I saw. What I do here, you're going to understand why I'm saying that what I do for free is not the right thing to do. I was watching his show. Kino said, you need to watch this guy. So I put it on. I put the subway train jumper and I started watching him. And the subway train jumper is talking, you know, to his audience live, like right now. Like right now, people ask me every time, hey, what's the price of the Rolex Submariner, you know, Hawk, you know, green dial, green ceramic bezel. And if I have a chance to see it, I'll tell you the price right in the air, and that's it, right? Because I'm like that. I'm stupid like that. But that guy, the subway train jumper, somebody asked him. He says, hey, I need to find out. They write to him. I want to find out how much this Patek Philippe, blah, 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 costs. And the guys, he read it and he says back to the guy, listen, guys, if you guys want a consultation, there's no problem. You know, you pay me for 5 minutes. You pay me $20 for the consultation. I tell you, you know, about the watch, this, that, the movement, blah, 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 blah. But it costs you $20. You know, el lambón, el palomo. And then he has it on Pow Pay, you know, Pow Pay account, or Velmo, Velmo, you know, one of those things, you know. I don't know about that stuff, you know. And people are sending the $20 because the idea of, oh, he's gonna talk to me, you know. He's gonna talk to me. I gotta pay him $20, and people pay for a service. So if you're planning to open a channel like this one, which is for free and 100% org, you know, Nick, you know, don't do it because it's a veces not worth. You know, I told you the story of the towel. The guy says it's $20 a square foot, and the other salesman told him it's $200. The salesman for the $200 got the deal with this lambong, this customer. You know, the other guy with $20 didn't get the sale. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. You know, I really hope, and I hope you when you do your channel, you don't do it for free like me, because we know that we know that doing things for free is it doesn't work out. It doesn't. You gotta put a penny on it or something because it doesn't work out. I'm gonna give you a watch market update for some of my organic watch channel subscribers for free. I'm gonna give them that. I hope you understood about gold. I hope you understood about P marketing, the service they have now. Is, they're selling their services on data. Somebody show me the word database. Is that for real? Is it called database? Is what that is? Can somebody write me down something there? Maybe Ed, maybe Thomas. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I think it's DJ Mooster. Somebody write down. I want to learn from you guys. What is that? Database? Something? A marketing now? A new thing? Okay, we're gonna go to the watch market update. Ladies and gentlemen, our first watch is an AP Royal Oak black ceramic chrono, fully black ceramic, 50th anniversary, reference number 26240CE, 41 millimeter, this watch metadata, okay, metadata, right? So something unbelievable. The retail price on that AP Royal Oak black ceramic chrono 26240CE is $82,200. $82,200. Me neither. But I got to give you the watch market update on those black ceramic watches that I have to. Lazy and detached. Wow, unbelievable. I mean, let me. Now that you said that, Thomas, if you look at the video of the kit, I call him a kit. Data mining. Wow, data mining. So thank you so much, Thomas and DJ Smooster. When you look at the, because I know you're gonna look at it. When you see the video of the person that's talking about that marketing thing, that data lazy, whatever you guys call it, mining, whatever, he looks when he's making the video that he hasn't even washed his face. Like he just woke up, he rolled out of bed, and he's gonna make the video. There's no line that they're smart. They're smart people. Now, I don't know if they take care, if they take a bathe, that they bathe, that they bath, and they clean themselves. Because if you see him, the way he talks on his introduction about what he does, what he's going to offer for his people, for jewelers, watch dealers, backpackers, all that good stuff, Corona era backpackers, he looks like he just woke up out of bed. He had a big ass eye booger in his eye, a big eye booger, an eye booger in his eye, and he's talking there like, it's unbelievable. You see them, the shirt is, I wear wrinkled shirts every day. I like them wrinkled when my wife washes them. I like them wrinkled, put them on. But this is like a wrinkle, like a real wrinkle, smelly, But he makes that type of, you know what I'm trying to say. So it's called mining and lazy data meta. I said everything you guys said, So, ladies and gentlemen, going back to that AP Royal Oak Black Ceramic Chrono 50th Anniversary, reference number 26240CE, 41 millimeter, retail price is $82,200. Don't pay for that watch, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what they keep on hyping among themselves. No matter what they do to get you taken, don't pay for that watch more than $93,000. And there it is. That's number one. Okay? Don't do it. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a beautiful watch here, which I like it very much. And I don't understand how this watch hasn't gone all the way up. Hasn't gone all the way up. And I'm talking about no other than, H. Muser. The H. Muser. I think the H. Muser. Sí, a ti no te gusta mucho, relojes. You don't like it. No te gusta. The H. Muser, they call it the sunny side up, like an egg. The sunny side up, give it to me sunny side up, the egg, It has like a, it has like a fusion, black with like, the color of an egg, so they call it that, so beautiful watch. Beautiful watch. A reference number of that watch is the 3201 dash 1200, and sir, if you want pictures, I do this for free. Like I'm telling you. You see that? Read to me what this gentleman just put down there that he wants to see pictures. I don't have all day to do this, so please excuse me for not having pictures. But I give you the reference number so you can Google it yourself and you look at the picture. With all due respect, I'm saying that. With all due respect to you, sir. Happy Labor Day as well. The H Musa, they call it a sunny side up, like a fried egg. It's unbelievable, that watch. Unbelievable. Reference number 3201 1200. Beautiful watch. Ladies and gentlemen, this has a 72-hour power reserve. It's unbelievable. It's a great looking time machine. It has the casing in the back is open. You can see the movement. And I don't know how that watch hasn't taken up, because I'm telling you, these people are sponsored. H. Muser, has sponsorship with Formula One, with the cars, the Formula One race cars. So money is there. They're not looking for people to join in their venture. They're not that watch brand, Avanti, whatever you call that thing. There's this. You know what that means? Look at it. That these people, they don't need that. They have all the money, and they haven't taken off. And their watches are, man, I say, man, they're just, don't pay for this watch. And this watch costs $8,400 is the retail price, And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for this watch. And I'm being kind saying this. Don't pay for that watch more, for the H. Muser. Don't pay more than $11,500. And I feel bad saying it, and it's dropping. It's like I said again, it has a yellow fume, 72-hour power reserve. It's 40 millimeter, white strap. You know what I'm trying to say. You go look for it and find it, right? Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an AP Royal Oak Yellow Gold. This is fully yellow gold. Yellow gold limited edition, 202 pieces. I'm telling you, AP became something similar to, maybe you're not going to agree with me, and that's fine. But the AP started making, Marvel, Spider-Mans, purple, figures, equalizer pianos and their watches, different names. And they started becoming something like Hublot, to be honest. But they have all these different limited edition pieces. And this one is the yellow gold. Reference number 26240BA. Whenever you see the letters BA, it's something special, it's a limited edition. Even the dial is the same color as the gold, when you look at the dial, the only thing you're going to see is just Audemars Piguet, whatever, right? It's an unbelievable watch. And this watch, ladies and gentlemen, is a boutique edition. You have to be somebody really big so they can take you to their back door, and they can, wax your sinuses back there. I don't know what they do. They massage you back there. You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say yet. And they do that, so, it's Hamilton and Fugero. So this watch is beautiful. It's a beautiful watch. It's just solid yellow gold. It's 202 pieces made. Okay? 41 millimeter. They call it the ALYX. 41, a special one. Don't pay for that watch, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to tell you, this watch, I don't want to tell you the price that it had at a moment, because for what? You know what it was. $300,000 all day long, every day. Don't pay for that watch more than $126,000. And you have the reference number. I'll repeat it to you one more time just in case you want to Google it. Okay? It is the 26240BAALYX, 41 millimeter. Our next watch is an AP Royal Oak stainless steel. They call this the Blue Eyes. It's a 38 millimeter, white dial with the blue gauges, blue gauges, Blue Eyes. And ladies and gentlemen, this watch, I remember that this watch, people were paying for this watch. It was something savage. They were paying for that watch $125,000, 110, 105. Unbelievable. 38 millimeter, but made it beautiful was that the blue gauges. Beautiful watch. And ladies and gentlemen, this Blue Eyes is reference number 26315. Beautiful watch. Retail price is $34,800. Do yourself a favor and don't pay for that watch more than $38,000. And okay, there it is. You got that one too. Okay, we're moving on. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an AP Royal Oak two-tone moon face owl. The owl. The owl. Owl. Two-tone. Stainless steel yellow gold. Reference number 25594SA. White dial. Moon face. Don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want with this. This is a watch that, you guys should, look at it because I'm not a real big fan of two-tone watches, but this watch for some reason, 31K, okay, for some reason, it's all right. I will rock it, to be honest. It's nice. I think it's very nice. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that AP Royal Oak two-tone moon face owl 259594SA white dial. Don't pay for that watch more, and I mean don't pay for that watch more than $24,000 and dropping, okay? Be careful with that watch, Be very careful. Be careful. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an AP Royal Oak white ceramic. This watch here, I got to talk to a little bit about it because this watch here, at one moment, I think Mr. Ed Blair, told me something like, wow, I don't understand these ceramic watches. But this ceramic is AP Royal White Ceramic Perpetual Calendar, 41 millimeter, reference number 26579CB. 26579CB. Unbelievable, white ceramic with a blue dial. Unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, this is no sketch. This watch, I think every Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market dealer at one moment had this watch, I sold it to you, you sold it to the other one, you sold it to Dewey, you sold it to, Johnny, you sold it to Bobby, Willie, and the watch, estaba puteado. Everybody got that watch. And ladies and gentlemen, the number of that watch, if you know how much that watch cost at one moment? Does anybody know? Does anybody know how much that watch was costing at one moment? Not even gold, plastic, ceramic, white ceramic with a blue dial. Anybody, give me a number. Throw me a number out there. I can say something. Okay, that watch at one moment went all the way up to $600,000. Exactly, $50. $600,000. And you had people like, you had the Walrus, the Hungry Hippo, Boxing Black Eyes, the two Toddler Body Brothers, unbelievable, Big Pun and Heavy D, the two Jehovah Witness brothers. It was crazy, this watch. But then I'm gonna tell you this because it's not to their convenience, but I will. I will because I'm stupid like that. And this watch, anybody that knows about, that because when everything went crazy, it wasn't that Corona era, that Corona beer era, it went crazy. People, listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. Si tú eres un lambón, if you are a lambón and a palomo, and you never had 3, 4, 5 melons in your bank, you go crazy. And there was people that got 3, 4, 5, and 10 melons in their bank from the government sending you a protection, employment check protection. You have a big firm, you got 25 employees, how much money you need to keep your company afloat for the next couple of years, because we have, you have this thing in your face, and you're walking around the whole place, they send you all that money to your bank. So some of them were for real, some of them really had all those employees, and they needed that kind of cash to they can withstand this thing that was happening, this outbreak, this outbreak that was going on. So they were sending the money, and all these people went crazy. Some of them, it was a lie. You film, you sign, you send it, they send you the money right into your account. Boom. Later on, you have people buying Lamborghinis. The guy had a car wash, and he put down that he had 50 employees in the car wash. You understand what I'm trying to say? You understand me or you don't understand me? Exactly. So people, you have a car wash, and you put there, have 50 employees to clean cars. I need $10 million. The government sends it to them. A year later, they'll come and get them. But in that year, he buys a Go Fast boat, a Lamborghini, a Richard Mille, and you're going crazy. And those people went nuts in that time. They were buying, like you say, a plastic watch, a white ceramic summer AP perpetual calendar, 41 millimeter with a blue dial for $600,000, Papi. It was the only way. Don't pay for that watch today. And I'm telling you, don't pay for that watch today. You do whatever you want. But don't pay for that watch more than $239,000 in dumping. And I'm telling you, I'm not telling you to buy that watch. I'm just giving you the information. You do whatever you want. If you look at my prices and you look at their prices, you're going to go, whoa, hold on. Because I'm for real. I'm going to tell you what's happening. Those watches cannot move. Who wants a plastic ceramic white, casing and bracelet? Who wants that, man? You got to go to Fiji, Tahiti, the Maldives Islands, to have a white something. But come on, you're going to put that in the Bronx? You're going to put that in Queens, in Jamaica, Bayside? Who are you? Okay, so you know what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. You guys ain't stupid. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Richard Mille RM6701 titanium black strap. Black strap. Don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. It's a brand new watch, and this watch is under. You do whatever you want. Don't pay for that watch more than $171,000 in dropping. You do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a watch that a lot of you have been, you like this watch very much, and I like it too. It's nice. It's not a bad looking watch at all. It's the Omega, the Silver Snoopy, the Speedmaster, It's unbelievable. It has a blue, like a strap, and it has two things, bracelet and the strap, And it has a Snoopy, a little Snoopy, and one of the gauges. It's an unbelievable looking time machine, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want. The reference number of that watch is a 310-3242-5002-001. Okay? 001. Has a white dial, and it has the little the blue gauges, Retail price is $11,200. Don't pay for that watch more than $11,700. And nothing. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want with your Silver Snoopy. You do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Our next watch, ladies and gentlemen. This watch, when it was first released, they started putting it on, one of those platforms, those eBays, Chrono, whatever it is that you guys like. And this watch, they put it at $28,000. $28,000. Let me give you a hint. It's a stainless steel Oyster Perpetual, 41 millimeter. They put it for $28,000. As soon as it came out, somebody already had it in their back pocket already, Somebody, went to one of the dealers and went through the back door. Here it is. You got it already. and he put it for $28,000, and then it dropped to $19,000, and then to $16,000. We're talking about the Rolex stainless steel Oyster Perpetual 41 millimeter pistachio green. You know, 134,300, 134,300. Retail price is $6,600. Do yourself a favor and save your children's tuition money, all right? Because you're gonna need it. Don't pay for that watch more than $11,800, and you do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna talk to you about a watch that most of these, Michiganers, these Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market dealers and channels, they all get together and they send out the memo and they all read it and they follow the same, like the channels, like the news channels, that everybody reads the same thing. The local news, everybody reads the same thing. From Iowa to the Bronx in New York, everybody reads the same thing. It's scripted, all scripted. And when they send out the memo, they say, we're gonna make this watch the new one now. We're gonna call this the Rolex Daytona Oyster Flex Baby Le Mans. The Baby Le Mans with the black dial and silver gauges, because the real Le Mans cost $250,000, $200,000, and so on and so on. So they make this one the Baby Le Mans, These people are unbelievable. So they have this watch, and they started saying that this watch is now a $55,000 watch, Oyster Flex. Reference number of this watch, ladies and gentlemen, is the 126519 40 millimeter. Has a retail price of $39,300. Black dial, silver gauges. Beautiful, beautiful watch. Don't pay for that watch. Don't pay palito. Don't pay palito. You know what palito means? Don't pay more. The same thing that the watch costs. The watch costs $39,300. You pay $39,000. How should you pay for that watch? No more. I ain't playing around here. We give you what it is, the real thing. This is for free. It's only for free. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about a Vacheron Constantin historic, the 222, stainless steel. Stainless steel, the historic 222, blue dial. New release, one of those watches, incredible. The 4200H, 37 millimeter. Retail price is $33,300. And when it was first released, right away they're asking $90,000 for the watch. $90,000, $82,000. There were no takers, because I keep on telling you guys, listen to me. The only reason that you got used to hearing those high numbers, it's the same thing as hearing for free and not for free. When you keep on hearing the same numbers, it's in your head. You still keep on thinking that a John Mayer, the John Mayer Rolex Daytona yellow gold with the green dial, it went all the way up to $180,000. And they told you guys that when you buy this watch and it discontinues, it's going to go all the way up to $500,000, and you're only paying $180,000. You're going to make another $300,000. It was that time where people were going nuts, with the free money, with the free government money that dried up, and they're coming for it now. They want it all back. They're going to get it all back from us. You think they won't, but they're going to get it all back from us some way, somehow. You'll be paying for it years and years and years, but you'll be paying back that money. You'll be paying back that money. And ladies and gentlemen, this watch, this historic watch, the Vacheron Constantin, the 222, they couldn't find nobody. And the retail price is $33,300. And I'm gonna tell you, so you guys won't get hurt. Don't pay for that watch more than $52,000, and okay, there it is. It is dropping, ladies. There's no money out there. Look, I'm gonna stop here for a moment to tell you something. Today basically, I don't know if realistically it's not or it is. Is today the last day of summer? Does anybody know if today is the last day of summer? Today. This working day, Labor Day. Nobody knows? Okay. In reality, this is the last holiday of summer, right? You had Memorial, 4th of July, and now Labor Day, the workers. I want you to know something, man. When this happens, the party is over. Kids are back in school. The kids are back in school, the parents are working, and things are very iffy out there. Daytime is gonna get darker quicker. The money is different. I want you to know from now on, from here now, this week, starting, you're gonna see people now, like I told you, they're gonna be now, hey man, what's happening? Where's the money at? Things are tight, things are not good. I took the trip, I pay the kids Catholic school, I pay my daughter's tuition, da 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 da. The bracelets for the teeth, this, that. I gotta turn in the lease, I gotta get another lease. Listen to me. Things are gonna get seriously out there and sticky, greasy, and slippery out there. Just letting you guys know. You're gonna see the real thing now coming now. These months now, you're gonna see it. September, October, November. It's gonna be school clothes, all that stuff. You gotta buy matching socks because we have rules in this channel. You gotta buy matching socks because we have rules in this channel. So don't be stupid. Let these people keep on skip hopping around through life, making believe that the watch market is up and running. There's another watch market update. There's another watch show coming to my backyard, here in Miami. And it dead. It dead. They're gonna eat each other up. It's here in Miami. Look for it, Look for it. Watch show out of Miami this month, September. Look into it so you know what I'm saying. So be careful with your money. Be careful. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is the Richard Mille RM010 titanium, black strap. You look for it. Don't pay for that watch more than $117,000. All right? Don't pay more than $117,000. Christmas is coming. Christmas, that Thanksgiving Day parade. People have to spend money with the turkey, with all the goods, all that stuff. Grandma's coming, uncle's coming, Petey, Joey, they're all coming to visit. Everything is money, papi. Just be careful, man. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, gold is going all the way up. And when it's going all the way up, that means that the printing machines are printing Washington dollars a todo lo que da. And Franklin's and all that good stuff. They're printing and printing. La situación está jodida, muchachos. You gotta get it through your head. The situation is bad out there. It's bad out there. I'm gonna give you my last watch market update of the day. And the watch market update for this watch is the Richard Mille, the RM6702. Mutas, the Mutas. M-U-T-A-Z as in zebra. Carbon, TPT, or STD. STD, an infection. I call it the STD. And this watch, ladies and gentlemen, is pink with burgundy. The casing, the strap is pink. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, because I have to tell you this just in case you don't know it. This was a watch that gentleman over there from Asia. Is it Asia? Oh, I don't know. Over there from Asia. I call him in a sweet way, the Iron Sheik tunic man. He's over there in Dubai. And ladies and gentlemen, I haven't seen no stock like that man. The stock that man has is to respect, regardless of what it is. Regardless if he's a flim flammer, a huckster, a hoodwink, you must respect that guy. That guy has, I'm telling you, he must have $1 billion in watches. I mean, $1 billion of the best and most hyped up watches you can ever think of. And this watch right here, this Mutas, was one of them. And ladies and gentlemen, you're talking about $1 million, 1.3, 1.4. It was crazy. 2009. Okay. Okay, Mr. Blair. Okay. Wow. And this watch is an unbelievable watch. Like I'm telling you, if you look into it, the retail is disgusting. And I'm gonna tell you that this watch has dropped has dropped faster than Bill Clinton's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse. This Richard Mill. Mutas. Mr. Iron Sheik Tunic Man, if you're hearing me, hear my price. You're gonna, this is my question too, Mr. Blair. What do you think that the Iron Sheik Tunic Man will do with all those watches that will hype up? Do you think that he got those watches retail, under retail, or do they take the loss? You know, can somebody answer me that? Do they take the loss? Or they get those watches at, you know, because every single watch that came out of the Richard Mill, plant, it goes straight to Asia. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you, ladies and gentlemen, so you understand, this is $1 million watch. Don't pay for that watch. Don't pay for that watch more than $294,000 in dropping. All right, guys? There it is. There it is. You know what I'm trying to say. I give you the reference number and you look for it, so you understand what I'm saying. I bet this is $1 million all day long. $1 million, and today is at 294,000 shekels, like Mr. Blair says, shekels. Mr. Blair, what does shekels mean? That's something special? Shekels? Single time machine. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's my watch market update. I hope that you learned something today on gold, that you heard something on the, on the P marketing, that you learned something of the ambassador from Rolex. His name is Leonardo DiCaprio. I call him AKA the weatherman. The weatherman, that guy who knows about what's happening, but I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, you also heard about Swift Taylor engagement to distract all of you looking somewhere else. I told you about the movie Loose Change. It's not a movie, it's a documentary that you guys should all see, okay? So there it is, guys. I hope I covered everything for you guys. I hope you have a beautiful afternoon wherever you should be at this beautiful day of resting, for the hard workers out there, respect to all of them, to our serviceman, fireman, those people, unbelievable, Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we have a private watch group under my name, Juan Felipe Nieves, is on Facebook. Look about and you'll find their opens in time. Request to join the group. Like me and Sweet Kid Kino say always, like we say always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video, 16 likes. That's unbelievable. It's unheard of, unheard of. But again, thank you so much, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and like the channel, right, guys? Like we say always, take care and brush your hair. Take care, guys. Be well. Be safe.